Hello, everyone, and welcome. Have you ever wondered how massive companies use SAP to buy literally everything from office supplies to massive machinery? Well, you've come to the right place. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on external procurement, which is the absolute core of how businesses purchase things from the outside world. So, here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the absolute basics. Then, we'll dive into the two main ways you buy things, for your inventory or for immediate use. From there, we'll see how something called account assignment is the key to directing all the costs, we'll explore the different purchasing tools you have, and then we'll wrap it all up with some key takeaways. Ready? Let's jump in.
All right, first things first. Let's build our foundation. What in the world is external procurement?
At its heart, it's really simple. Anytime a company buys materials or services from an outside supplier, that entire process inside SAP is handled as external procurement. But this isn't just about cutting a check. Think of it as the engine that powers the entire purchasing cycle from start to finish.
Okay, now this is where SAP starts to get really smart. When you buy something, the system asks a very basic but very important question. What's this for? Are you going to put it in your warehouse or are you going to use it right away? This one little decision changes everything that happens next in the system. Let's start with the first scenario, buying for stock. So let's talk about procuring for stock. This is all about buying materials with the goal of building up your inventory. We're talking about things like raw materials for your production line, spare parts to fix machines, or even finished goods that you plan to sell later. These are all items that, as soon as they arrive from the vendor, you put them away in a warehouse or some other storage location. They officially become company assets. And here's the magic of the system. When those goods arrive, SAP automatically and instantly updates your stock levels and the total financial value of your inventory. And notice this, you don't need to enter a cost center here. The system already knows the value is tied to your warehouse stock. But for any of this to work, a material master record is absolutely mandatory. Think of it as the material's social security number inside SAP. It's how the system tracks its quantity and its value over time. Without it, SAP has no clue what it's storing. Okay, but what about all the stuff you buy that doesn't go into a warehouse? Well, that brings us to our second type, procurement for direct consumption. This is for anything and everything that gets used up pretty much immediately. The classic examples are office supplies like pens and paper, or maybe services like hiring someone for a quick repair job. The very moment you log in the system that you've received it, it's considered consumed. It's treated as an expense, not an asset sitting on a shelf. Now, this is basically the mirror opposite of procuring for stock. Here, an account assignment is mandatory. You have to tell SAP which department's budget is paying for this. Since it's used right away, your inventory levels and value don't get touched at all. And because you might be buying a unique one-off service or item, a formal material master record isn't always needed, which gives you a lot more flexibility. This leads us right to the mechanism that really acts as the traffic cop for this whole process, the account assignment. This right here is the golden rule. Within any purchasing document, you decide for each and every line item what its purpose is. If you leave the account assignment field blank, SAP just assumes it's for stock. Simple. But if you fill it in with, say, a cost center, SAP knows it's for direct consumption. It's the switch that tells the money where to go. And you can flip this switch in all the important purchasing documents. You can do it right at the beginning in a purchase requisition, in the official purchase order, and even in those long-term outline agreements. So now we get the why, stock versus consumption. Let's move on to the how. SAP gives you a few different purchasing tools for different situations. You've basically got three main tools in your toolbox, and each one is designed for a specific job. You have the standard one-time purchase order, the more strategic long-term contract, and the super precise scheduling agreement. The one-time purchase order, or PO, is your everyday workhorse. It's perfect for things you buy every now and then, or maybe just this one time. You need something, you create a PO, you send it off, they deliver, and you're done. It's straightforward. Now, for materials you buy on the regular, a contract is a much smarter way to go. You negotiate a great price with a vendor based on a big total quantity you promise to buy over, say, a year. Then, instead of making new POs all the time, you just issue little release orders against that big contract. This saves a ton of time, and because you committed to a higher volume, you almost always get better pricing and more predictable spending. And finally, we have this scheduling agreement. This is for when you need materials regularly and on an exact schedule. You work out a deal with your supplier for specific quantities on specific dates, like, we need 100 units delivered every Monday morning, no exceptions. This is a huge deal in just-in-time manufacturing, like in the auto industry, where every minute counts.
Okay, that was a lot, I know. So let's boil it all down into a quick cheat sheet so you can really lock in these concepts. Let's put these two side by side. You see, the key difference is the destination, warehouse or immediate use. That one choice creates a domino effect for everything else, whether you need an account assignment to track the expense, whether your inventory value changes, and whether you need a formal material record from the get-go. And as for how you buy, your choice of tool really just depends on how often and how precisely you need things. For those one-off buys, the PO is your best friend. For recurring purchases, a contract lets you lock in better terms. And for situations where timing is absolutely critical, the scheduling agreement gives you that pinpoint control you need. And that's a wrap. You now have a really solid grasp of the basics of external procurement in SAP MM. Knowing which method and which tool to use for the job is really the key to running a lean, efficient purchasing process. So the question I'll leave you with is, how can you take these strategies and use them to make your own supply chain even better? Thanks for watching.